Scalebound was a non-linear action RPG where you controlled Drew and his dragon Thuban. And as a big fan of Panzer Dragoon Saga, this was one of the RPGs that really stood out and looked unique. It was scheduled to come out in 2017 for the Xbox One, but was cancelled. It now looks like it is back on the table as Microsoft and Platinum Games, the group behind the Bayonetta series, are back in talks about a future for Scalebound that was obviously in late development, as you can see here, with Microsoft's new way of going to business. By the way, if it launches for the Xbox platform, it would highly likely be playable on PC through Game Pass or other means as well. Now, before we dig deeper, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button so hard your finger aches, and if you love RPGs, please subscribe. Now, although I said it is an action RPG, it does lean on the role-playing aspects, with the main character of Scalebound able to issue commands to the dragon and also take full control of the dragon. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Also, you can run on foot with the dragon attacking with you or jump on the dragon's back and take to the skies. So for anyone else who played Panzer Dragoon Saga, it appears we might finally get a game that takes huge inspiration from that gameplay loop, but done in a more modern way. Scalebound also features 3 different dragon types, and you being able to mix and match those for the dragon of your choice. Once again, Scalebound showing up its Panzer Dragoon Saga influence. Now, even more interesting and unexpected was that the game also was touting a 4-player multiplayer co-op mode as well. With a non-linear approach to the world that Scalebound had, it looks to be a very fun and interesting RPG, and I hope the talks go well and it is given a full release. Although not a lot of information was given as to the original cancellation of Scalebound, it is likely that the hardware of the Xbox One at the time just simply wasn't powerful enough for them to pull off the game in a substantial way or the way they had envisioned it. But with the new Xbox, I can assume that this is probably no longer an issue. And even at the time of cancellation, Platinum Games mentioned they likely would return to it in the future. It's possible now with talks back going about the title, and by the way, I have my sources linked in the description, that we may finally get the Scalebound RPG. And since it was so far along in development, we could possibly get it fairly soon. Of course, there would need to be some reworks for the game, and I'm sure that systems they thought were fine in 2017 would need refinement for a next-gen release. I have to say though, that in my opinion, the graphics look fine. They can obviously run at a higher resolution, and I don't think they would have much of an issue there. Most gamers are more interested in higher frame rates with graphics that are good enough anyway. Scalebound is unique enough that it has the potential to be something very special, and it was always a project I really wanted to play. There are so few quality titles out there where you have a dragon at your disposal, and Platinum Games really kind of feels like the right company to pull this off. I'm personally hoping for a good mix of exploration in the world, and with full towns to get gear and quests, and a decently sized world to take flight upon the back of the dragon. Everybody loves dragons, and with the Xbox having very little in the way of big releases coming down the pipeline, Scalebound could boost some excitement for their platform. Scalebound was never meant to be the high action, by the way, that the Bayonetta series was known for. The intention was to lean on the RPG side with more strategic fights. The main character has one of his arms, you can see in the clips, and it's imbued with some kind of draconic powers. And between issuing commands to your dragon, the powers you have with your arm, which was reported that you could heal your dragon and blast some kind of draconic something out of it. Also, hopping on the dragon's back or fighting side by side with the dragon and issuing commands to the dragon. The combat style, if done right, could be something extremely unique for the genre. Now, real quick, let's take a moment to hear from our sponsor, the members of Napalm, and then we'll be back for more, so don't go anywhere. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the members of Napalm. They have strapped on their armor and are casting the spells of awesome by supporting this channel and keeping me full-time every month. Thank you so very much. And I think you are interested in becoming a member. You can do so by clicking join down below this video and pick a level that is right for you. And I would like to give a very special thank you to the Lords of Napalm. Bounty code Jared Woodhouse, Daimlos, Farthest Reach, Sparrow, Christopher Hensel, Random Rob, Zelik Lid, Rotten Yo Mom, Vander, Gallering Moonsong, What's the Takeaway, Trips, Daniel Cordley, Richard Glass, and Remy D. Thank you for your highest tier membership. It would be extremely nice to see this game finally get a release, as it is something that looks like it could be a memorable adventure. I'm personally usually more into a much more fantasy approach. This looks to be a bit more sci-fi, but it doesn't change my opinion that Scalebound looks insanely fun to play. As a complete absurd fan of Panzer Dragoon Saga, Scalebound reminds me of it so much that I really want to play it. If the talks between Microsoft and Platinum Games goes well, we will likely see this title fairly soon. And the designer of the game seems hell-bent on getting this game out one way or another. So it wouldn't surprise me that even if the Microsoft deal doesn't go through, which I think it will, that they will likely reach out to Sony or Nintendo to finally get this game out in one form or another, possibly starting a new IP with future titles as well if it sells well. And don't underestimate the power of strong RPG titles for your platform. The Nintendo Switch has seen major success in sales, and a very large portion of it was due to their incredible RPG library, which is something Xbox lacks and something that Sony is building up currently. Big RPG releases are incoming for Xbox, but most of them are extremely far out. Scalebound seems like a title that is late in development and could be something to get the RPG juices going, and would in my opinion be extremely ignorant for Microsoft to turn down, especially when you look at the hype level for the game back in 2017 was going extremely strong. Once again, I do think the frame rate issues probably held back the gameplay due to hardware constraints of the original Xbox, and is likely what led this game to get cancelled, but with new hardware, that is no longer an issue. I dug up an old interview where Platinum Games explained that they approached development of Scalebound and their building of the world in a way unlike anything they had done before, and a new take on how to make this style of game. They said it wasn't meant to be for the very skilled advanced players, but appealing to a wider range of players due to its RPG roots. The dragon elements in the fantasy world setting they feel will appeal to a very wide audience, and they designed the combat to meet those same expectations. It's less about quick reflexes like Bayonetta, and this allows more to go in the way of graphic prowess. Now, this interview was back a long time ago, and now we can see and look at these graphics, and of course, with newer hardware, it should be no issue to pull off this style and with tons of horsepower left. But you can tell that Platinum Games was really aiming for a project they really believe in and were excited about. So I do believe, with or without Microsoft, Scalebound is going to find a way into our hands in one fashion or another. What do you think though? Have you heard of Scalebound before? Is this your first time hearing about it? Would you like to see it release, and on what platform? Let me know in the comments down below, and of course, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button so hard your grandma downstairs awakens. And if you enjoy RPG content, MMORPGs, JRPGs, CRPGs, even tabletop RPG content, that's what we do here. So please subscribe for more. And until next time, my friends, God bless and happy gaming.